everyone. Welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today we're talking to a creative entrepreneur who's gone from working in surf shops and corporate roles to building a standout eyewear brand rooted in design, culture, and sustainability. His work blends punk, vintage, and modern aesthetics and has been featured in GQ, Hypebeast, Complex, and Highsnobiety. Let's get into it with SAD Eyewear founder Kiefer Cohen. When this episode comes out, it'll be about July. So your spot at the lab will be open, which I am so excited to get to shop and share with listeners. And then for our listeners, in our June issue, we featured a pair of your sunglasses, so they can check that out too. But you and I got to meet a few months ago, and I had so much fun getting to talk with you and hearing about your life in Ojai and then also Orange County. And my husband's been obsessed with the pair of glasses that we got from you since then. So I've been so excited to get to talk with you officially.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad that we got to meet in person before this. It just makes it a lot easier.
Oh, totally, 100%. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. So what were you like as a kid, and what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Honestly, this, not sunglasses specifically, but this kind of industry is the only thing I've ever wanted to be involved in. I mean, other than music, which to me, they kind of somehow go hand in hand, just kind of the types of people involved and kind of the worlds that surround them. But yeah, I mean, other than wanting to be like a big rock star, it was, I wanted to start a brand and have a business with friends. And that's exactly what we're doing. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned music. Not only do you have your own brand, you play guitar and you're a talented ceramicist. So when did art and creativity kind of start showing up for you, or what was that first outlet that you grasped onto?
I definitely always was interested in kind of more artistic endeavors and the creative side of school. It wasn't necessarily the most, my family was very supportive of it, but it was very not their forte. And so I didn't grow up in a super artistic and creative based family, which was totally fine. And I probably kind of enjoyed that more because that was my high school rebellious kind of streak. So just kind of being involved in the worlds that surround that. So definitely from an early age, that was just kind of how it was. And I love learning, but school is super hard to get through in the academic ways. So having some creativity on the side and with friends definitely helped get through those years.
Totally. I find even today, even just coloring or writing or whatever it is, helps ground me. It just just creating in some way helps me feel stable.
Adult coloring books have taken a big step up the last couple years. The amount of people I've talked to, they're like, yeah, I'm just coloring. And get on yet. But really cool coloring books too. I mean, there's
yeah. No, I'm obsessed. Okay, so you went to SDSU for business marketing and finance. What drew you to that path, and did you have kind of a clear career vision at that time? You mentioned you always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, as far as picking those, so kind of going back to what I was saying about family, I definitely grew up with everyone in my family being kind of traditional business oriented, and they from early time were just, if you go to school, get a business degree, because whatever you want to do, whether it be creative or financial or real estate, whatever, it's all business. Anything that you're doing in life can be related to a business degree. So I definitely took that as great advice, and it has been, not that I learned so much in school, but at least being grounded in that world kind of gives you a little bit better introduction and definitely helps you. My first job was not my first job, but my first job in this industry was at Volcom. And part of the reason I got hired was because they're like, oh, you can write a great business email. And I was like, is that a hard thing to do? And they're like, well, you'd be surprised. A lot of people come in here and they're very creative, but getting communicating across the world isn't always the easiest. So
Yeah.
it definitely helped out. And I think that steered my direction in scholastically.
That's so funny. I joke that I was like the personality hired at Orange Coast. Like same thing. Like I don't remember like exactly what I learned in school, and she didn't even look at my degree. She didn't look at any of that. She was just like, your personality is a good fit. And I was like, okay, great. Like if that's what works.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you had a lot of hands-on roles, like what you mentioned, working at Hobie surf shops to doing everything from brand management and starting your own clothing brand, Mesa Culture, which is, I feel like I remember that brand. But what did those experiences teach you about people and branding?
Well, so I think you mentioned Hobie in there, or what was the? Yeah, so
Hobie and
as far as like getting first introduction into the like apparel field, and in high school I had no idea how to get started. So I just got a job at the local surf shop, which was a great experience. And, that was my first time meeting buyers and kind of learning about clothing production. And that other company you mentioned, Mesa Culture, that was kind of just a brand that I had in high school and used to sell t-shirts out of my car and to friends and would print them at a neighbor's garage. So I had that going on the side. And then I was like, well, how do you get into stores? I'll just go work at a store. And so they did kind of inform each other. And I think at one point we did get a few products like on a table in there. So like the manager just hooked it up and helped me out. Cool. But that definitely kept the interest going and the intrigue. It's like along the way, anytime you get a little bit of positive affirmation from the outside world or anyone, a friend or not a friend, it just kind of keeps those gears going. So that is how I forgot the initial question, but that's
that you answered it. But okay, wait, what high school did you go to and what year did you graduate? Because I'm curious for other listeners who are hearing this being like, Mesa Culture sounds so familiar.
I went to Corona Del Mar High School and I graduated in 2012, but I was good friends with a lot of people who went to Newport Harbor High School. And so a buddy of mine actually was selling our t-shirts out of his car in their parking lot. And then I'd be doing CDM. So we kind of hit a few bases.
Yeah. I was in Huntington and I feel like I remember this when I was in like OCC days. So like I would have been a little bit older than you, but yeah, that would make sense because 2012 and I was in OCC in 2012. So yeah.
We had a lot of stickers up and we had a big art show. And the art show was a pretty big, for us, it was a big success. Yeah.
Where was the art show?
It was on Rochester Street at this place called The Living Room.
I went there.
You went there?
Yes, I remember I went to an art show there. Our friend my husband's friend had a display there. And so it must have been around the same. It has to have been the same one.
That's amazing. Well, yeah.
I knew it. Okay. We got there. I knew it somehow. Well, after college, as you mentioned, you went into hospitality as an appraisal analyst and then later transitioned into production at Volcom. So how did you break into that world and what did you learn from being in like this established brand?
So the appraisal was just my first job out of high school, out of college. And every job along the way to get to SAD was really just to pick up a couple traits and like skills that I could learn to eventually kind of run my own business. And then hopefully when I'm hiring people, I'm a little bit more informed on certain subjects. So I learned a ton of finance at the appraisal analyst job. And then moving over to Volcom, which was just like a dream job to get. I did production there with my boss ended up being my old surf team coach.
What?
So it was great. And it sounds like a huge shoe-in, but everyone on the surf team all applied for the job. So I think there was like 12 people applying for the job and I somehow squeaked it out. But working with him was just the best. He at the time had been running production at Volcom for like 23 years. He was one of the first 10 people there. And he still is doing that now. But I learned, I mean, I learned everything there. But I think I got that job because of, well, he went to SDSU, which was just like cool connection.
Oh, yeah.
And because I had made clothes in the past, I think he just saw that I actually had an interest in doing it rather than just like, I want to work at Volcom. I was like, I want to do this specific job at Volcom. So doing that was, they sent me to China on a trip. I was like 24. There's just like all this cool life experience that they gave me. And I, eventually took everything I learned there in communicating with people overseas and in other countries. And that's what we use today. So
oh my God, what a cool, yeah. Also, it's so nice that cause like as a fellow creative, like I only have like the creative mindset. It's really nice that you have that business mindset as well. Cause like finance, I just can't. So like, that's nice to have that balance.
I'm not saying I'm great, but
yeah. But understanding it at all is nice. Well, around the same time you started SAD Eyewear. So what sparked this idea and why eyewear specifically?
So I think I actually started it just like almost the exact same time that I got hired at Volcom. And I remember I wrote down on my initial papers, like signing in papers, that I had been making eyewear. And I think I did that just so later down the road, if I don't know if you can get in trouble, but I didn't want them to think I was like taking manufacturers or anything like that.
Right.
Which I didn't end up helping me for eyewear specifically, but living in this like Costa Mesa, Newport area, a lot of people had brands, and it's very, all the big surf skate brands live or were located within like a mile and a half of each other. You got Volcom, Ruka, Quicksilver used to be over there. Hurley was down the street. Vans is up the way. It's like this is just very much the hub. And growing up, that was why I was like, this is the area to be doing this. But all the older kind of surf skate eyewear brands were kind of phasing out at this time. This is like 2018-ish. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't really a whole lot of independent eyewear at this time. Now it's a different story. There's a lot of options. But at the time, I kind of was like, all right, what can I build a brand around that I don't want to have to make a season, like every quarter. I don't want to have to make new products and have to, try to get rid of old inventory. Like I want to have some staples within the brand, which is true. Like our first, our silver line, we have this style called Ace. It's our best seller. And that was the very first style we came out with. And that was, when we did that line, it was maybe 3.5 years ago. So having 3.5 years of longevity versus a season to us was really important.
Yeah.
So I just was like, what can I make that's not a t-shirt or a hoodie that might take a little bit more expertise to get manufactured? And that was what I ended up having a background in. So that was kind of how that came about.
That's so interesting, because in my mind, making eyewear would be more complicated than making a t-shirt or a hoodie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like everyone here was making a t-shirt brand or a hoodie brand. I was trying to do something that I had the same thought as you. So I was like, it's a little bit more complicated, but I think I can figure it out. And eventually we figured it out. So,
yeah. So SAD stands for Sight and Design Co. How did you land on that, and what does that represent to you?
Well, initially SAD was just SAD, and there's every single pop-up or event we worked at, everyone insisted that it be an acronym. So, we went through a bunch that we would just make up on the spot, and Sight and Design was one. I think I used in an ad or something, and it just stuck, and everyone really gravitated to it, including me. And so I was like, that's the one we're going to use. But initially, and moving forward, now that we're having a store, it was kind of like a umbrella for eyewear. We're in the store. We're selling ceramics and coffee table books, and the subject matter in the coffee table books will be like home design and graffiti and furniture design, like a lot of things that are related, not related to eyewear, but related to design and good aesthetics. So hopefully now with the store, it'll make a lot more sense of being in the brand world. And these are all things that we market on our website and social media. But it just kind of is a good yin and yang between, design, eyewear, how they fit together, how they're different. And to me, it's all just interest of myself and people who I work with. So it kind of goes.
That makes so much sense. And I'm so excited for the store even more than I was before. That's so nice. You're going to have is it ceramics that you make too?
I'm definitely going to have a few pieces, but I'm not cranking them out like a full job would. But I'll definitely have some pieces. And I live up in Ojai a lot of the time, and the ceramics are huge up there. So I've enlisted some great potters from my studio, and I'm now wholesaling from them to then put in the store. And they're so excited to be in a retailer, and I'm so excited to get to work with them. So it's very mutually beneficial. I love it.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Bringing down anything from Ojai. I'm like, please bring their wine down too. But your designs blend punk, vintage, and modern aesthetics. So where do you pull inspiration from creatively?
I think a lot of it is kind of what I mentioned before, just growing up in this area. Those were so much of the beach culture and skate culture. And so it's really just from friends and the surroundings. And, I mentioned coffee table books selling at the store. Those are things I'm really interested in. Well, so at home, I have a ton of books that I reference and look at. And through SAD, I've gotten to spend a lot of time in Japan. And every time I go there, I'm just so inundated with so much visual stimulation. It's amazing. So the culture over there influences a lot of what we do. And it's been great having a relationship with Japan.
I love it. I went last year, and in Ginza, they had this big mall. And then at the very top of the mall, I think there was a bookstore, and all of my coffee table books right now are from that bookstore. So I have 3 Japanese coffee table books, but amazing. You're right. Their coffee table books are something else.
Yeah, it's so great. And I just feel so lucky that have gotten to go there a few times.
Jealous. Yeah. Okay. So you've collaborated with artists and creatives like tattooists. I hope that's the correct term, and pro skaters. How do you choose who to work with, and what makes what makes a collaboration feel right?
With those ones, a lot of stuff just happened super organically. So our first skate collab, our second store ever was this amazing skate shop in Huntington called Joker's Skateboards. Oh
yeah.
And so Joker's was our second shop, and they just have a great reputation. And so this woman, Nicole House, was going in, and somehow she gravitated towards our sunglasses, and I don't know how she ended up with them, but next thing I know, she went pro, and in all her going pro event, she's wearing SADs, and I'm like, this is crazy, because I know who she was, and I just didn't realize that she had any. And then we started a conversation on Instagram, and she was interested, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we ended up making those first pro model sunglasses, which was super cool. And then we flew out to Minnesota, where she's from, and had an event out there with her local skate shop. So yeah, just super naturally. And then all the tattoo artists, my friends, are very spend a lot of time in the tattoo shops. So we've become really good friends with a lot of the people that we ended up working with. And yeah, now we're having some art from Nathan Coseco in our store, which I think we're going to start having like a bunch of oil paintings on the walls that just to
Ooh.
kind of give it a cool vibe, but also will be available for sale. So he's kind of kicking that off. So we maintain everyone that we've done work with, we kind of maintain a long-term relationship with. We did a pair with a festival in Austin, Texas, Levitation Festival 2 years ago, and we're doing it again this year. So we try to just, it's not just about like, hey, how can we find new people and expand our reach? It's like we're trying to build this community of people that we kind of have each other's backs and can refer to each other in the future. So it's been really nice to do.
So cool. I'm excited to see those oil paintings. Okay, so sustainability is also a really big part of SAD Eyewear, from plant-based acetate to recycled materials. So why was it important for you to build that in from the start?
I think just from creating products is always kind of a tough spot to be. It's something I've always wanted to do, but at the same time, there's so much product in the world. So I think trying to just do what we have actual capabilities of contributing to, then I'm going to do. So like the biodegradable acetate was a big step, and the recycled plastic was huge. So doing that, I think just kind of, they both just lower our footprint overall. And I would hate to sit here and try to greenwash it and say that we're like the most sustainable eyewear brand, because at the end of the day, we are creating new product. But the constraints are difficult to navigate. And I think I'm just doing our very best to do what we can with what we have at this point. And hopefully down the road, when we're, at another level, we can contribute more and contribute more to like green causes and reduce our footprint even further. We're just trying to add it in as we go.
I love that. And I think you're already doing like such an amazing job with it. But okay, so at what point did you start, or did you decide to quit your corporate role and focus on SAD full time? Because I feel like there might be listeners who are in a similar position where they're just not sure when the right time to make that transition is.
I, at one point while doing this, had like seven simultaneous like side jobs with one full-time job. And over the course of like 4 years, just started to chip away and reduce them. And one of the best days of my life was having one job to look after.
Yeah.
And also, I think that's really important, because I'm so grateful every day that I'm working on this. And it's just like I said at the beginning, like I really am living out what I've wanted to do for as long as I can remember. So the day I quit personally was the day that we made exactly what I made at my other job, and I quit. So, which wasn't the smartest, because then I lost that income. But as long as I got to a spot where I knew that I was going to be okay and could take the risk, I didn't just jump in head first like some people do and try to figure it out. I had obligations and things that I needed to look after. So I definitely went about it in a more conservative way, but I've never been really afraid of, we've never really been like about to be out of business, just because I am a little bit more cautious. So that might have hindered some growth that we could have gotten if we wanted to hit it hard and fast. But that's not what it is, what it's about for me. I'm trying to go for longevity and sustain this lifestyle. So that's the way I did it. And I hope that's helpful to someone, but I definitely took the time. We've been doing this for a little over 7 years, and I've been full-time for 3.5. So
wow. Congratulations on that. 3.5. That's so nice. 7 jobs is crazy.
That was not sustainable.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you would like for listeners to keep an eye out for in 2026 in addition to the lab opening?
We're gonna have some great collaborations coming out towards the end of the year. We're also starting an athletic line, which I'm really excited about because me and my coworkers are really got this running bug, and so we're, like I said, everything is related to kind of how we grew up and things that we're interested in. So, and in spirit of the SAD brand is kind of all DIY based in individual pursuits. And so running and biking fits right in there. So we're really excited to release that. And those are the big things. Just, yeah, check us out online and on social. I think we try to keep it interesting for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, we're coming to the end of our time, but before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3. So, first, when have you felt the most challenged in your career and how did you push through? That's kind of a big question.
I think just there's some growing pains when you're trying to go from a small brand when you're able to do everything yourself to that next level. And you know, trying to make sure that who you're hiring is on board with kind of the goals of the company and have it be like a good match, but also be able to, you know, going back to that financial portion, like, are we able to have a new person right now? So I think those struggles have been difficult, and like, do I want to buy so much inventory, but the future's unclear, and you know, what's the overall state of retail and online shopping and kind of these bigger questions. And you don't always know the answer. Most of the time you don't. But again, I kind of don't, I always take the more conservative route and just like, hey, what do I know is true? What do I know is going to happen? And what can I very plausibly expect over the next, 6 to 18 months? And that's what I go with. And those are the challenges that I've tried to like get better at over time.
Yeah, that's actually really good advice because I feel like I would be most afraid of like the things that you can't control or the things that you don't, the uncertainty of being an entrepreneur. So taking it like what you can control step by step like that is really good advice.
Yeah, there's always outside factors in everything in business and life. And at the end of, you can only control what you can control. And so that helps lower anxiety too. You just kind of take it as it comes and know what your capabilities are, and you should be in a good spot.
Totally. Okay. So what advice do you have for creatives who are trying to turn their passion into a business?
First, I don't necessarily know everyone should do that. I think there is a lot of value in having something that is just creative and keeps it, you know, you mentioned that I do ceramics. Like I'm happy to sell a few at our store, but I'm not trying to make that my business. And I love that. I love that I have that. That's one portion, but otherwise I think just if you really make what you think that there is a fit for someone out there, our sunglasses brand, we definitely don't try to cater to everyone. We try to cater to kind of people who have similar interests, and that has seemingly grown over time. And they find you. You don't need to necessarily go find them. And there's so many creative people out there, and they come up with so much stuff I would never think of in a million years that I would like, and then I love it. So it's like you really, if you have a lane and a cool idea that you really believe in, I do think that there's a lot of value in that, rather than there's so much trend chasing online and you're inundated constantly with the same imagery over and over again. So if you have a unique approach, then you know you'll find a way to get out there.
Amazing. And then last, if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice when you were first starting out at SAD, what would it be?
Probably a lot. Just keep going and just make sure Yeah, listen to what you think versus what you think trends are. I think just the inside, what you feel inside of what needs to be out in the world is a lot better, because if you chase the trends, they're gone so fast. The amount of times we've been caught with we do a restock of the hottest selling color, and as soon as we receive it, that color dies. And so it's just because other people like it right now doesn't mean that that's the long game. So I think the intuition goes a long way.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was so fun to get to talk with you. And again, I've said it so many times, but I cannot wait to go see your place at the lab.
I'm really looking forward to it. I really appreciate you having me on. This is great. I love the podcast. I think you're doing a great job with it.